Hi, everyone. Welcome to Life is Good with Lead Generation. I'm Lori O'Neill, and today's topic is, oops, goes a little too quick. There we go. Networking. It's networking today. How do we network? In one of our prior sessions, we talked about, the open house, and it's just a great way to make that face-to-face contact with potential clients. And we know that they're potential clients because the vast majority of individuals who are attending an open house are either interested in listing or buying a property. And that is your first impression. And the face-to-face contact and first touch is one of the most important. So the question is how do you continue to make those face-to-face contacts so that people meet you and they understand what it is that you do and what you have to offer, and then you nurture that relationship. So the topic today in lead generation is networking. So let's start off with, what is networking? Well, it's the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and to develop a professional or social contact. So this is the first point of establishing a business relationship. It's, while we do digital marketing and we send out flyers, we may make phone calls, cold calls, etc. But this face-to-face is where that's the first connection, and that's the most important, and that has the highest success rate once you've met people. So that's what we're going to talk about. How do we do it? What are best practices, and where do I do it? So let's just start off with, some networking ideas. Where do I go to meet people? Well, the first one is KW in-person training events. Those are agent referrals that you meet, and that's where you make contacts for anyone outside of the territories in which you work. And this is a great way for you to connect, to get leads from California, referrals from North Carolina, referrals from Florida, and maybe even referrals from France, because we do have a networking opportunity in foreign countries. And yes, they do pay the referral fee for that. So that's a great way to start lead generation in person at KW training events. And so what are those events? Well, we just finished family reunion. And even though you were virtual, you still had the opportunity to exchange information with fellow agents across the United States and abroad. So make sure that you attend those. The next one coming up is Mega Camp, and there'll be some other events that are planned. But again, that's just one avenue. What are your special interests? What do you like to do outside of work? Is it book clubs? Is it knitting? Is it horseback riding? Are you an equestrian that you go to the barn and you're socializing at the barn? Whatever those, tennis, golf, those special interests and hobbies, you really want to make sure that you are involved in those activities and make sure people know that you're a real estate agent. And when you show up to enjoy that activity, you're reminding them that you're a real estate agent. Get those people into your data bank. Neighborhood gatherings. What if there is a block party? What if there's a garage sale? You might live in a townhouse community. Make sure that you participate in whatever community events are going on within your neighborhood, and make sure people know that you're a real estate agent. Religious affiliations. Sorry, I put special interest twice there, but hobbies and special interests kind of go together. How about daycare when you drop your kids off? But it also includes doggy daycare. So make sure that individuals at these daycares know that, in fact, you are an agent. What about events? School reunions, weddings, maybe there's a township event. Maybe there's a fair going on and you end up getting a table there and introducing yourself at a fair. At the parks, they may have sports teams. Make sure that you are present and ready to go for networking at events. There's also things you can do, professional organizations such as the Chamber of Commerce. That's a great place to meet other colleagues, business-to-business contacts. And don't forget, most importantly, some of your community service. When you're giving back your time and everybody there is donating their time in the same spirit, it's also a chance for you to connect and exchange your business cards too. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, this is the whole idea around lead generation, is creating those relationships. And the community service is a little twofold. You get to give back, but you also get to create a presence that, you know, you're a real estate agent that gives back. Anything further we want to talk about as far as, you know, some more networking ideas? Anybody else come across anything creative? Okay, let's move on. So before you get to these events, you're going to need to prepare yourself. So you need to be ready before you go to these events. You're going there with a purpose. So we're going from entrepreneurial to purposeful. You're going there with a purpose. So don't forget to bring your business cards, and bring 100 of them. You don't know how many people are going to be there or who are going to ask you for your card, or that you may want to present your card. Become ready. 100 business cards. You need your 30-second elevator speech. It summarizes and introduces who you are and what it is that you do. And you can be a little creative and have fun with that elevator speech. Don't forget, you want to tell people you're a real estate agent. Before you want to do some script practicing. What if I run into a potential buyer? What if I run into a potential seller? They may ask you how the market is. Make sure that you're prepared in answering those typical questions that are asked of a real estate agent, and practice that before you leave the house. Have it at the top of your head what the numbers are in an area. You know, have questions ready for the buyer. You may start to vet out the buyer, potential buyer or potential seller, as far as, you know, where they'd like to move to. Do they have a finance person, a mortgage lender? So you can start to ask some simple questions that preempts the follow-up, which I'll get to in a moment. Bring a small notebook and pen. You may need to take notes, reminders of the people that you met. You know, make sure you collect their business card. And the notes section helps you take notes on if you ask them any pre-qualifying questions, whether it be a listing or a buyer. Or you remember something about them, so that when you follow up with them, maybe they were just at their son's or daughter's wedding. Maybe there was a baby that was baptized. Maybe they took a great trip to Hawaii. And so when you get back in touch with them, because you're going to do that after this, you want to just say, it was great hearing about your trip to Hawaii. I'd love to go there in the future. Any places that you would recommend? So it's that notebook and pen that will help you in follow-up after this. Also, make sure you do some research before you go. If you know the event and you know the group of people that may be gathering, perhaps you do some research on the organization itself, the people that may be attending. You may already know some of the people that you're attending. Make sure you know who's going to be there, or a sense of who's going to be there, the demographics of who's going to be there, so that you know how to prepare for your script practice. Any questions on that, or other suggestions, recommendations? Okay, let's move on to the next point. So once you've gone to the event and you have collected all these notes and you've collected all these contacts and you've collected all of these business cards, the next thing you're going to do, and the most important thing you need to do is after your networking, is that you need to follow up. So all these people and contacts need to go into your data bank. If you committed to providing something to that contact, whether it be a book, whether it be a CMA, whether it be a favorite recipe, make sure you provide whatever you committed. So that's first and foremost, and be timely in your response in doing that. Make sure you connect with all these individuals on any of the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. You want to make sure that you continue to connect and nurture and develop that relationship as you continue. You might want to invite them out for coffee at some point later on down the road. You might end up becoming friends and meeting them for dinner, and then you infiltrate their circle of friends. So this is just not one-stop shopping. You know, when you connect like this, you continue to network around the individuals that you've connected with, asking them, who do you know that needs to buy or sell a property? Comments, questions, open it up to the forum.
You know, I'm always saving mine for last, but I'll let
I know, Frank. Go ahead. Let's hear it. I love it.
Well, you know, thanks again, Lori, for doing this. You know, a couple things that came to my mind. You know, number one, you mentioned scripts. So
Yes.
what is the script, right? So it's anyone interested in buying, selling, investing, and a career in real estate. I always throw the career part on at the end because you never know where you're networking with people, but there's a lot of people getting into the business right now. You never know who that next top producer is going to be. So think about that: buying, selling, investing, or career in real estate. I think also in preparation and how you show up, some easy things that we can do maybe overlooked is just wearing a shirt or something with the logo on it. A shirt or hat. So even from a distance, someone could approach you and see that you're already involved in real estate. So, that's a quick and easy way to, to break the ice with them. Also, if you're doing events, if you're doing any type of an event where you want to set up a table, we do have tablecloths and banners and signs in the office that you can borrow. So if you're going to be at an event and you want to use one of those to have a table set up, give the front desk a call and we can hook you up with those things as well. I think all the different networking opportunities you mentioned, certainly pets and kids, religious, those are all great ones. I love that you brought up maintenance and follow-up. I think that's maybe the most important part of this. I know I do a lot of prospecting and, I talk to people and I have conversations,
Yes.
Great conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I may not speak to them again soon. So my favorite call plan is a quarterly call plan. It's a reminder to touch them, once every 90 days. That's 4 of my 36 annual touches. And what I'm always really surprised about is how I can have a conversation with somebody from 2 years ago, put my notes into command. Maybe I've called them 6 or 7 times, haven't talked to them for 2 years. And that one time they pick up the phone, I can almost immediately pick up in the conversation where I left off. Just by having a couple notes in there about who they are, what they do, when and where we connected, things like that, just to tie that, just to tie that conversation together, because they say the conversation is the relationship, and I think nowadays we find it increasingly hard to get together in person. Obviously, some of these things are really affected by COVID. So focus on the conversation, take notes, think about that person, and put them on that quarterly call plan. And again, if you don't like making calls, it's okay, because it's not a cold call. You already met the person, you've already established a rapport, and there's always good reasons to call and follow up. I think the one last piece I would add to it is, make a plan around this. So when you sit down and you look at the things, the activities you can do to network, plan it out for the whole year, plan it out for the next 12 months. Pick out the major things that you can do during the year, make sure you get them on your calendar. And then look for smaller things you can do on a monthly or even weekly basis, and get that onto a calendar, get it into a plan for the year. When you put it on your GPS or 411. And from the budget side, if these things cost money, if it's going to cost money to do these things, attend events, of course you want to factor that in as well. Take a look at the expense side on your budget, and account for it on the money side of things as well. So, but great topic here today, Lori. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure to do this. It's essential to understand, these little, these ideas around lead generation. It's not just about the calls, the calls become purposeful when you do all of this work. So I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity. I love being on the ALC. It's been really a lot of fun so far since January 1st. So, and to all my colleagues at the office, if there's a topic that you want, please get in contact with Frank or myself, anyone, and let's get it bubbled up, and we can certainly explore that topic during these lunchtime Life is Good with Lead Generation.
Absolutely. Anybody else on the call? Any questions, thoughts, comments?